Just wanted to say thank you for the support on the last video. That was amazing. I like to inspire conversation, so please, if you want to conversate in my comments, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's the point of these videos, is to think and to question and to conversate. So thank you. And don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps the channel grow. It helps me grow. Keeps me motivated. I need your guys' validation. But yeah.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths.
That line, spoken by the Colonel at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, used to sound like paranoia. Like the ramblings of a madman who demonized the freedom of information the internet provides. Now, it sounds prophetic. When the game released in 2001, players dismissed its ending as absurd, a tangle of philosophy and exposition that seemed to spiral out of control. But 2 decades later, what seemed like chaos now reads like clarity. Kojima didn't just write a story about military conspiracies, he wrote about the future us. This is a story about control, not through violence or governance, but through the quiet, invisible power of data. And as strange as it sounds, we built the very system Metal Gear Solid 2 tried to warn us about. The Patriots rule the world from the shadows, not by silencing opposition, but by controlling what they know. They decide what stories are preserved and which are erased, what memories are passed down and which are forgotten. Their weapon isn't censorship, it's curation. They believe that too much truth will tear down society, that humanity, left unchecked, will drown in its own noise. And just maybe, they were right. Today, our patriots aren't humans. They're algorithms and LLMs, machine editors that shape what we see, what we value, what we desire, not through intent, but through optimization. Our digital world doesn't delete ideas. It buries them under thousands of louder ones. In the digital age, truth is measured by visibility, not by virtue. That's the genius of Kojima's writing. The Patriots don't need to eliminate people to control the masses. They just need to make sure your voice is lost in the void of everyone else's. It's the illusion of free speech in a world where visibility is the real currency. A world where freedom still exists, but only in whispers.
Your persona, experiences, triumphs, and defeats are nothing but byproducts. The real objective was ensuring that we could generate and manipulate them. It's taken a lot of time and money, but it was well worth it considering the results.
Raiden's tragedy isn't that he's being manipulated. It's that he doesn't know he's being manipulated. He's a soldier built by data, trained in virtual simulations, modeled after someone else's legend. His memories are manufactured, his purpose pre-written. He isn't a man.
What is a man?
He's an algorithm's output. The real twist of Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't that Raiden is a victim of control, but that he is the embodiment of it. We live in that same paradox today, and we call it personalization. We think we're expressing ourselves online, but our identities are shaped by what gains traction, the photos that perform well, the jokes that go viral, the beliefs that keep followers engaged. We learn subconsciously what kind of self the system rewards. Raiden believes he's making choices, but he's really following a script designed to create a predictable result. I would argue, so are we. In the digital age, identity becomes performance, clicks and likes the applause, and the algorithm is the director. Kojima wasn't writing about technology. He was writing about the slow death of authenticity, about how even our rebellion can be manufactured if the powers that be profit from it. The Patriots' world doesn't look like a prison. That would be counterintuitive to the point. It looks like a utopia, this facade where information flows freely Everyone has a voice, and no one's silenced. But that's the trick. The illusion of freedom is the foundation of control. When you give people infinite choice, you don't liberate them, you paralyze them. When every voice can speak, the voice of reason is silenced. The most dangerous form of power doesn't come from removing freedom. It comes from flooding it. And the player experiences this firsthand. At the start of Metal Gear Solid 2, you think you're Solid Snake, the hero, the legend, the one in control. Then the game takes that away. You're replaced by Raiden, a new face, a blank slate, told to repeat history. And suddenly, you realize you've been manipulated too. Kojima used the player as a test subject in his own experiment about information control. He wanted you to feel the betrayal Raiden feels, the realization that free will can exist inside a cage, as long as you can't see the bars.
Its final lesson is carved deep in my psyche, that this world and all its people are diseased. Free will is a myth. Religion is a joke. It's controlled by something greater. Means. The DNA of the soul.
To the Patriots, society is an organism, and ideas are its DNA. Their goal isn't to destroy ideas, but to edit them. Transform the basis all in the end goal of control, to become the gene editors of civilization, deciding what cultural traits survive and which go extinct. That's not science fiction anymore. That's just machine learning. AI and AGI are not some fiction of a faraway future. It's here, and it's here to stay. Our feeds evolve based on feedback, posts mutate for engagement, adapt to outrage, replicate through virality. It's natural selection, but for ideas. And the environment that determines survival isn't the mind, it's the algorithm. When a tweet goes viral, when misinformation spreads faster than correction, when outrage overshadows nuance, that's mimetic evolution in real time. A digital ecology that prioritizes reproduction over reflection. Kojima's AIs wanted to protect humanity from informational collapse. Our algorithms just want to keep us scrolling. But both operate on the same principle. Humanity can't be trusted, therefore it must be guided and controlled. We used to think the danger was censorship, but the real threat was saturation. Kojima understood this before anyone else, that the flood of information would be more effective than any wall, any barrier. We are drowning not because we are silenced, but because we never stop talking. The tsunami of information and freedom of access drowning out individuality and truth. The Patriots don't need to erase history. It just makes sure history was too fragmented to mean anything. Our world functions in a very similar way. There's no grand conspiracy, no central villain, just a machine that rewards noise over meaning, reaction over thought, outrage over understanding. Truth hasn't died. It's just been outperformed by endless noise and infinite scrolling. And in that chaos, control becomes effortless, because when everything feels equally urgent, nothing actually matters. The modern economy doesn't function off of oil or steel anymore. It runs on outrage, on engagement, on emotional volatility turned into data points. We've monetized our instinct. Anger keeps us scrolling. Fear keeps us compliant. Social media is the perfect system for the Patriots. It doesn't need to suppress truth. It just monetizes division. It feeds off the divide, and we offer a full buffet. And the result is a society that confuses expression for impact, where yelling feels like action and awareness feels like change. We've become addicted to the performance of dissent, mistaking noise for rebellion. The more polarized we become, the more predictable we are, the easier to control. Kojima warned that the next battlefield wouldn't be physical. It would be psychological. And the enemy wouldn't need to fight us. It would just keep us angry enough to stop thinking and complacent enough to stop acting.
The terrorists call themselves Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty?
The name of their leader is Solid Snake.
The hero of Shadow Moses? So that's why you changed my code name.
Right, but he can't be the Solid Snake.
At the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden learns that every step he's taken was orchestrated by a rogue AI. He's not a soldier, he's an experiment. But this awakening doesn't come from rebellion, it comes from awareness. He doesn't destroy the system, he recognizes it. He sees the strings and decides to move away, to choose freedom. That's the paradox of freedom in the modern world. You can't escape the system, but you can stop letting it define you. Kojima leaves us with a challenge: to live consciously in an unconscious world and to think critically in a system that profits when we don't. Freedom isn't the absence of control. It's awareness of that control and the refusal of it. The Patriots aren't dead. They've just changed names. Today they go by Meta, Google, TikTok, and X. They don't command armies, they command attention. They decide what's appropriate, what's relevant, what's worthy of engagement. They don't need to silence opposition. They can just bury it under 1,000 distractions. And the scariest part is that we accept it, embrace it even. We welcome the convenience while ignoring the detriment to our attention spans. We confuse comfort for freedom. The Patriots justified their control by claiming to protect humanity from chaos. Our system justifies theirs by protecting us from discomfort. And both lead to the same quiet conclusion: a world where everything is known, but nothing is understood or questioned. Every day, billions of posts are created, and almost all of them are forgotten within hours. The internet gives us infinite memory, yet we remember nothing and challenge even less. In that sense, the Patriots' plan succeeded. Humanity became self-regulating, self-distracting, self-erasing. When everything is permanent, nothing carries weight. When everything is recorded, we stop listening. Kojima understood the psychological cost of that. A generation that mistakes information for wisdom and visibility for meaning, and a society where the future can't be built because the present never ends.
Think about it. Do you actually believe that public opinion influences the government?
No.
This country is shaped and controlled as the Patriots see fit. The people are shown what they want to believe. What you call government is actually a well-staged production aimed at satisfying the public.
Huh?
Resistance doesn't look like revolution anymore. It looks like awareness. The act of slowing down, thinking critically, disconnecting, taking some of our time to reflect. That's rebellion now. Choosing to learn instead of react. Choosing to listen instead of performing. In a world built on attention, your focus is your vote. That's the lesson Raiden teaches us at the end. You don't destroy systems like the Patriots by force. You weaken them by refusing to play their game. Every time you choose depth over distraction, you're doing something revolutionary. Every time you decide to think for yourself, genuinely and actively think, you're breaking the control that social media has over you. The power comes in realizing that. It comes in preserving the sense of self in a world lost in the overabundance of endless scrolling.
We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Kojima wasn't predicting artificial intelligence. He was predicting human nature, our instinct to control what we fear, and our fear of what we can't control. We've created systems that reflect that same instinct: comfort over complexity, order over truth, stability over progress. And like the Patriots, we call it civilization. Maybe freedom doesn't mean escaping the system. Maybe it means refusing to become part of its machinery. The world doesn't end with nuclear fire or revolution. It ended with complacency, with the quiet surrender of curiosity to convenience. The age of digital control didn't arrive with a war. It arrived with a scroll.